Hi, everybody. This is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hud, and we are back here at the Baseball Hut as we wait for the season to resume on Friday. But I wanted to sort of give you a video for this week, just talking about what the Mets need to do and what they're going to do at the trade deadline as we get really 15 games. We're talking about 15 games to decide what this team will do over the next few months. So before we get into this video, of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut and like this video. So they're 42-48, on pace to lose 87 games with the possibility of losing 90 games if there is another slide. Now, they had a bad June. It was one of the worst Junes in the history of this team. I think a top five worst slides they've had in June. That has nothing to do with 62 or 63, but this is pretty. They had a pretty bad June. They did not play inspired baseball for 2 months prior to that. Even though they had a winning record, you felt like something is not quite there, just in general. Now, we know the Mets pitching has been lousy. Max Scherzer has been sort of up and down. His wins are very deceptive. He's got 8 wins, but it's very deceptive. He's not won any big games for this team. He did not win a game against the Braves when they needed him last year. He didn't win a game against the Padres when they needed him. They needed this game on Sunday. He didn't even show up. He let Manny Machado just destroy him with the 2 home runs. And of course, he didn't play well. He didn't pitch well in Atlanta when they needed him. In the games they needed him to pitch well, he wasn't there. Justin Verlander, he's been up and down. He's been sort of up a little bit over the last few weeks. Gode Sango's probably been the most consistent starter. I expect that he will have a big second half. He's going to get awfully close to having a chance to win the Rookie of the Year in the National League. I predicted him before the season. I'm going to stick to it. He's doing an excellent job. He deserved to get to the All-Star game, represent the Mets. This pitching is a major issue. I mean, the Mets do not have a deep farm system. However, they did a great job during the MLB draft. They drafted a lot of pitchers, a lot of college pitchers. So we're going to see a lot of those guys come up and support this team as we go further next year in 2025 as well. So the Mets have done a very good job the last 2 years, specifically this year, in terms of drafting big pitchers. And I think we're going to be very, very happy in another year or two when it comes to pitching. Offensively, the biggest thing about Pete Alonso is I think he is still dealing with this injury to his wrist. So that's why his batting average is so low. I've had a couple of fools write to me saying that he's Dave Kingman. One guy said he was the ghost of Dave Kingman. Dave Kingman, you screwball, is still alive. And Dave Kingman didn't have the ability to play defensively that Pete does. Pete's a good defensive first baseman. And Pete has done a lot of things that Dave Kingman could never do. It's just an old Met fan, just an old, cranky old Met fan. Just doesn't like Pete. And there's another guy that doesn't like Pete, complaining that he went to and participated in the home run derby and was there at the All-Star game. Get over it. Pete's a good player. But the batting average has to go up. It'll go up eventually. He'll probably finish at 250 for the year. Jeff McNeil, I feel, is going to have a better second half. You can't be any worse than the first half. I think a lot of it's the pressure of the contract. Just relax, Jeff. Francisco Lindor, the same issue I've talked about. He's had a lot of big games, but then he disappears for 10 games. When they need him in a big spot, he had a couple of situations in the Padres series. He didn't get a big hit. That's what he does. It comes up very small as a clutch hitter. Did he deserve to be in the All-Star team? Absolutely. Third base. It's been a hole there offensively. Brett Beatty has not impressed me. He hits lefties on a consistent basis, but otherwise he doesn't scare me I don't trust him late in the game. Tommy Pham, he needs to get himself healthy, get ready. Brandon Nimmo needs to relax. It's good things the Mets got the All-Star break. He'll come back refreshed. I think he'll turn it around. Starlin Marte, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what's going on with him. The catcher, Francisco Alvarez. This guy is a stud. He's going to be on the All-Star team a lot of times in his career. He's probably going to win a Gold Glove behind the plate. I'm going to make that prediction. And probably hit 40 home runs on a regular basis. We have not seen this kind of power from a catcher with the Mets since Mike Piazza. So that is, and that's very impressive for me to say that, and Gary Carter. So that's something that we haven't had in a while, and that's something that the Mets have been very good at two positions in the history of this team: catcher and first base. They always have good catchers. They always have good first basemen. Now, what are the Mets going to do? The plan is, from what I've read, that the Mets still are sticking with the plan of having plans to be buyers and having to be a plan to be sellers. Right now, in my view, they should be sellers. There's nothing more they can do now. I mean, they have 15 games before the trade deadline. Games against the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the White Sox, the Yankees, and the Nationals. 5 different series. And you're going to see a real mixed bag, real mixed result. This team could come out of it about 500. If it's 500 and you're 6 games under and you're still behind in the wild card, start getting pieces out of here. Mark Canha should go. They don't need him. Don't need him. Tommy Pham, if he's is healthy, the word is that he might miss 2 weeks. But if he's healthy, you move him. David Robertson, he could be gone. I would move Brooks Raley. I'm not that enamored with him. Move Ottavino, even though he's got a 2-year deal. And trading these guys is not an easy decision, because then you're basically saying that the Mets have given up. Now, on the other hand, if the team decides to buy, what can they get? What are they looking for? Well, they're looking for pitching. They're looking for bullpen help. This team needs more bullpen help. And this Trevor Gott deal was not a good deal. It's a big waste of money taking on Chris Flexen. I'm going to say that again. The media is all for it. They all loved it. A lot of the other YouTubers thought it was, it's a great deal. They took on this money. It tells you it's a bad deal. You could have made the deal without taking on Flexen's money. I mean, not for nothing. Steve Cohen's not made of money. What are you wasting money for? $4 million down the drain. Which is what Epler did. But what could the Mets be looking for? Obviously more bullpen help. And I was thinking, they can use a backup infielder, a better infielder than Luis Guillorme. Guillorme sucks, quite frankly. And if he's not going to produce the kind of defensive plays that we're used to him making, then he's useless. And he has not had a good defensive year. If you've paid attention, his defense has been terrible this year. If he's not going to provide Gold Glove defense when he's out there, there's no reason to have him on this roster. So a backup infielder that could be a backup shortstop to Lindor, that can hit a little bit more than this guy. And he can't hit. Just can't hit. He provides zero pop late in the game. Zero pop. So I don't really see this team making any kind of major moves. I know that the WFAN, Tiki Barber is trying to get it out that the Mets are going to make a move for show all the time. Mets are not moving any of their big prospects now. They are building a very strong farm system now. The Met farm system is going to be very good in the next year, if it hasn't gotten better already with this draft. Really the last 2 drafts. Last year was a big prospect-heavy draft. This year is a heavy college pitcher draft. So this team is going to start bringing in pieces very quickly now after this year. But again, if they buy, it's not going to be for anything major. If they do, I'll be shocked, because that means they're going to be moving some of these young players. But you really can't do that yet. They're too old of a team to be doing that kind of stuff. I see them more of selling players, like I said, Canha, Pham, Vogelback. Look to see if there's any takers on Marte. See if you can get something for Scherzer. If you take the money, I don't think it'd be a problem moving him. I don't think Verlander's going anywhere. Pete's not going anywhere. That's for damn sure. And even though I've been sort of talking about it, Francisco Lindor's not going anywhere. McNeil's not going anywhere. They got long-term deals. Maybe you move Narvaez. That's a possibility. They don't really need him now. And another year or so, Parada's going to be ready to be the backup and being another everyday player on this team. So I don't see the Mets doing anything major. Just in terms of earth-shattering moves. There's no Juan Soto coming here. There's no Shohei Ohtani showing up here. They're not going to, like I said, they're not going to break up this farm system that Steve is so wanting to build. And the last two drafts, like I said, were very good drafts under Epler. Epler's done a lousy job bringing in major league talent, but the minor league talent's been really well received by all the big, analysts and all the big, people that talk about it online and all the people on MLB Network. They love what the Mets have been doing. People have been praising their number one pick, Colin Houck. Been praising it. And they said that he'll probably be a third baseman. He's always going to replace Lindor. Lindor's not going. He'll be ready in 5 years, and they say he could be a third baseman. David Wright came up as a shortstop. They drafted him as a shortstop and said that he was going to become a third baseman eventually. So that's kind of where we are with this team. But so over the next 15 days, I would assume that they will go either 8-7, 7-8, 10-5. Maybe 10-5, but I don't see them doing much over the next 15 games. They'll play well against the White Sox. They'll struggle to play well against the Nationals, but they'll beat the Nationals. The Dodgers is the big series this weekend. We'll see what happens there. The Dodgers are always the Dodgers. They're going to be pushing to get the postseason. I think they're going to win that division. From what I've seen of the Diamondbacks, I wasn't all that impressed with them. They're not quite ready for prime time yet. I don't think the Padres are selling. I think they're going to be buying on the deadline, just from what I could tell. They're the opposite of the Mets. They kind of like put their head in the sand and willing to buy. They're not so willing to sell. It's like last year. They brought in Soto. Everybody was shocked that they made that move because it wasn't something that was expected. I can see them doing something like that, although their farm system's pretty lousy at this rate. But so you let me know what you think about this video, of course. Please subscribe to the Baseball Hut. I'll keep you up to date on everything. Just keep an eye out for the Prospect Hut. I'm gonna have I got a whole bunch of videos lined up for that, talking about the draft and about the Met prospects that have been here for the last few years. And of course, check out the Baseball Hut 2, and close to 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours viewed. So thank you for watching this channel and this video, and I'll see you later.